3113. Hey y'all, Artist Poet Girl here, also known as APG Jamie, and today we're going to work on our mixed media frame some more. I know it looks like it's all glued down, but it's not glued down, y'all. It just looks that way. All the edges are nice and inked, and here's my map. Here's my pieces. I'm going to use gel medium to adhere these down. Now, I had been thinking off and on while I was working on this piece about popping up some of these squares so that they would be higher than the other ones, or these tiles. Let's call them tiles because that's what I've been calling them, right? So anyway, I'm just going along and buttering the backs of these with the gel medium and sticking them onto the easel frame there. And then I thought, well, you know, why not just pop some of these up? So that's what I'll end up doing. And in a minute, you're going to see me motion my hand around top, and then the right side, and then around the bottom, and then back up on the left. And that's because you want to work on gluing your tiles down in a circular sort of passion. In a circular sort of fashion, y'all. And that will help keep them straighter. Now, mine don't end up perfectly straight, and that's okay with me, because as y'all know, I am not a perfectionist. I might fiddle fart with details a little too much, but I'm still not a perfectionist. This is where I thought, well, you know, why not just pop some of these up? So I scraped my butter off, gel, and then I thought, well, no, I need to glue it onto what I'm going to pop up. I'm going to just use some more Corrugate to pop that up with. And I'm just going to cut that out with the scissors. And I probably trim it. I make it just a little big, which is fine. And then I trim it down a little bit more in a moment. And then I will also butter the back of that and stick it onto the easel frame. Now, I decided I needed to paint these popped up ones with the black acrylic paint, and I will do that later. Why am I spoiling the surprise? Well, I don't know, because I want y'all to know that's what I was going to do, I guess. Probably. So I'm sticking these down. Oh, I got to turn it so I can kind of see that I'm lined up there. And I'll end up having to shift them a little bit once I go down, because I don't know if you can tell. Oh, I'm putting some ink on there, but I'll have to come back and touch that up some more later. Let's see. That's just essentially it. I'm just going to be buttering the backs of all these with the gel medium and sticking them down. See, there I go. And you want to work around in a circular pattern. Oh, and I'm doing my hand that way again because you can't see it. You might need to weight them down a little bit, and that's not much weight. That's just my fluid matte medium, and in my dishwashing liquid bottle, because it's so easy to get in and out of that. And you can just pop that lid right open. So there I go, speeding it up, y'all. And there's my little teeny tiny piece. I'm gonna pop up the one next to it, not the teeny tiny piece. Oh, it's tiny, y'all. So I think that's just it. A whole lot of wash, rinse, and repeat. And I know I use that phrase a lot there. I wasn't happy with how those are kind of stuck down, so I'm shifting them, which you can do if it's not stuck down quite dry just yet. Okay, and as you can see, the focal center square piece there is larger than what is needed, which is wonderful, because then you can work over the edge of it and not have to worry about anything peeking through. Now I'm going to use some of that there fluid matte medium, and I'm going to go over the whole thing, because in a little while we're going to antique on it. And also, when you do this with your matte medium, if you should accidentally get something in the wrong place and you don't like it there, you can fairly quickly wipe it up with a baby wipe or a damp paper towel. I'm having some lip issues, y'all. A damp paper towel or even just a paint rag. So yeah, and I do recommend putting a couple of coats on, go in one direction and then the other direction, that kind of thing. So here's where I've decided the ones I've popped up really need some black paint on there, because I'm not going to be able to ink them because it's all glued down now, y'all. Just saying. So I'm going to use just some black acrylic craft paint, and I'm using a smaller brush because I want to be able to wiggle it in there and get it pretty close up in there, y'all. Now that's a wet baby wipe, fairly wet, and I'm wrapping it on the end of a palette knife to scooch off some of the excess, because I don't want like a line on my designer paper there, y'all. Isn't that a fancy word, calling that scrapbook paper designer paper, y'all? Now, I did use actual paper. You certainly can use designer cardstock, scrapbook cardstock as well. And over there, I'm mixing up some brown. It's probably one of the umbers, burnt or otherwise, and we're going to be antiquing. And you definitely want to be matte medium before you do this, because if not, your paper is going to totally absorb that brown and you're really not going to be able to get it off. Just saying. Okay? So don't skip that step. And I'm putting it on there, and as you can see, I'm working in sections. Now, you can add more later if you want darker antiquing, but it's hard to get less. Okay? So you want it to kind of set for a minute. And I'm going to use a wet baby wipe. Now, I know it looks like I'm rubbing, but I'm kind of rubbing, dabbling at the same time. It's hard to explain, because you want to take it off, but you don't want to take all of it off. That's why you let it set for sort of a minute. And if you want more, put more. And yeah. Oh, and between all these layers and stuff, you want it to dry. Like if you do the black acrylic paint, you want that to dry. Otherwise, you're just going to be smearing it around. Okay? And every once in a while, you need to flip your baby wipe around so that you have a clean area to dabble with. Right? All right. Oh, goodness gracious. Makes me happy. It does. Can you see? I'm looking at to see if I need to add more here, more or less. And that is a dry brush, and it's a kind of a stiff brush, y'all. And I'm going in there and I'm wiping away some of the edges in there with that brush, so that it's not a line, because I don't want really straight lines. I want it to be kind of blendy. Okay, and that's where that stiff dry brush comes in handy. And I'm going over my whole centerpiece there. And I end up actually making that way darker later. But that's later. Okay, you're going to have to wait for that part. It might even be in the next video. It might be in part 3. And I will do my best to remember to link to part 1 in the iCards in the upper right hand corner, and in the description box below. Speaking of the description box below, y'all, there's a list of ingredients in there. Now, it is pretty much exactly like the first video. In fact, it's copied over from the first video. Because it's the same list, all right? Same project. Corrugate, not cardboard. So now I want to do some stamping, or you can also do mark making with like the edge of a plastic card, a credit card or whatever. And because that's what I did on my prior mixed media frame, the one my husband's getting for his birthday, which isn't here just yet. Almost. It's almost here, y'all. And those were new stamps, and I was trying to decide which one I wanted to use because I liked them all, and I decided I just want to do the squares. So I'm mixing up kind of a green, and I am using a robin's egg blue, and I don't know what that green is. it should be listed in the ingredients in the description box below. Just click on the word more to see more. And I'm using a makeup wedge to apply that to the rubber stamp, and just stamping it down sort of randomly, just wherever it makes me happy. I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm picking out another stamp. Oh, I'm going to use the chicken wire because I like that chicken wire. It's another set of new stamps. I got them from the Tuesday mornings, y'all. And I think this is my first bobunnny stamps ever. I don't think I have any other bobunnies. Anyway, I'm going to use gold on the chicken wire because who doesn't love gold chicken wire? Just saying, because I likes it. And so that's what I'm doing. And don't worry about that big puddle of mixed up greenish color there, because I'm going to smear that around on a piece of cardstock. Oh, and I love it. I'll show that paper to y'all later. I think it's in this video, probably. If it's not in part 2, it'll be in part 3, which would be up in another few days. Okay? Okay. So, any hoodles. Here we go. See? Well, why didn't I do a close-up? Oh, there's that paper, y'all. I likes it. I'm real happy with that paper. Just saying. So, any hoots, making sure you get a good look at that. And my stamp portions are dry, and we're going to move on with this lavender sachet, I think is what this one is. It's in a dauber, and I'm going to use it on a different stamp over here, and just stamping that around randomly again. Now you can hardly see the pink at all, and that's fine. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be in your face, okay? In fact, it's better if it's not necessarily in your face, because it adds interest in there, and you're like, what's going on over there? And you're not quite sure what's going on, but there's something interesting going on. So, there we go. And I'm making sure that's dry. Oh, I just want a little bit more gold right in there. Just because I did. I'm not sure why, just because I did. So I'm just going to smoosh around what's left on the makeup wedge. It's fairly dry. It's not doing much, but it's just a little something. Okay? Okay. And I don't have much of a photo montage on this one. As you know, the frame's not really done. We have another part coming up. So stay tuned for that part. In a few days. It'll be up in a few days. If you're watching this one goes up live. If you're watching it when they're all up, they're all already up. Just looking up a right-hand card corner to check that out. And so that's what it looked like before stamping, and that's what it looks sort of like with the antiquing, y'all. So I appreciate you guys. You're watching, kind commenting, and sharing. Oh, thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all.